Hey guys, this is Core Graphics, and I'm going to show you guys how to make an animated texture like how I did in my promotional video. And also I'm going to show you guys how to do some reverse dynamics in Cinema4D. Alright, so after the promo I created, I've been getting a lot of questions lately as to the first thing being is how I did the texture. So what I did was I had a model of a logo, which was preferably my logo since it was my promotional video, but in this project we'll use a different logo that I made for a friend. And so we got his logo right here, and I just applied the texture, and I think I aligned it to cubic. Yeah, cubic looks fine. And something I noticed about R13 that's different from R12 is that when you apply texture in cubic in R12 and you try to move your model, the texture stays, like it doesn't move. But I noticed that in R13 that the texture, it moves along with the model, so that's definitely helpful. But as for animating the texture, it's actually pretty easy. What I did was I turned on automatic keyframing, and then I went to my texture tag. And for this effect to look right, depending on what texture you use, you're going to need to make this animate extremely slow. In which, after running about, I would say, 6 tests, I finally got it to an area that I felt comfortable with. So I guess I'll extend this out to 200 frames, which is what I did in my promo video, even though I didn't use all 200 frames of the texture animation. And I just went and I keyframed the offset for U and V, and you can keyframe that by Control and then clicking on the little dot right there. So that's keyframed. And then I went to 200, the last frame. And depending on your project, mine typically run at 30 frames per second. That's going to affect how fast your texture moves. And I think in my promotional video, I think I did 50 at each. So if I played it, something like that, to that effect. I mean, it's pretty slow. It's not too slow to the point where you don't really notice it, but then again, it's not too fast to the point where it kind of seems a little unnatural. And I know that some of you guys are probably thinking, well, I was expecting a little bit more than that from a moving texture. That's pretty much it to make a texture move in Cinema4D. It's mainly the post-processing that goes into it that really brings the effect out to life. You just kind of like start with the basics of that effect, and then you just expound from there. Alright, and then the second thing that I was asked about was the reverse dynamics that I did for it. So let's go ahead and work something with that. Let me go ahead and break this up. So plugins, Throsy, and I think I'll go with 25 pieces. Break now. Alrighty, I don't know where that came from. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, I think I found some of it. Yeah. I don't know why that happened. Probably because I didn't subdivide it enough. But, oh well. This is just for the sake of the tutorial, so I'm not really worried about it too much. So we want to make sure that our floor is tagged, and then if you hit play, of course, it drops and it breaks and then it goes all over the place. So first thing we want to do is we want to fix exactly how much this goes all over the place. And go on the floor, and then for friction, I crank that up to an insane amount because whenever I'm doing a project, I don't want this to hardly go anywhere than where it has to. And see, like that, it just kind of like just stands right there. So after doing that, find a place that you feel comfortable keyframing it. I'll probably, let's drop it. Alright, so it falls down, I'll keyframe it at 80. So we're going to click on the dynamics tag for our pieces, and then we're going to keyframe it by control click on that circle, and then at the very next frame we're going to turn off our dynamics. So if I go back to my very first frame, I hit play, that falls down, it stops, and then because we turn the dynamics off to activate at that keyframe, it comes right back together. Now again, I don't know exactly what caused all this to happen right here, which is probably just due to I didn't subdivide the anchor points enough when I create the logo, in which I'll probably have to go back and redo that. But that is how to make the animated textures, and also how to create reverse dynamics in Cinema4D. Whoa, something I just noticed is that those textures are not animated, so let's go back and do that. And it's really just the same process as discussed earlier. So I'll click on that first one, and then I'll shift click on the last one, and then keyframe it at the last offset, and then 50, 50. And now you can see our textures, they're moving. And then it comes back up and our texture is still moving. So I have been Justin with Core Graphics, and I've showed you how to create animated textures and also how to do reverse dynamics in Cinema4D. Take care, guys.